Welcome to the Coach's Corner, part of the Iron Sharpening Iron universe. I'm your host, Davina Lyons, also known as Mama Lyons, and this is where real conversations meet real growth. Here we explore what it means to rise through reflection, resilience, and purpose. One story, one insight, one breakthrough at a time. Whether you're a coach, a leader, or simply on your own personal development journey, this is your space to reflect, identify, stand, and emerge stronger than before. So grab your notebook, take a deep breath, and let's rise together right here in the Coach's Corner. Welcome to another episode of the Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Davina Lyons, also known as Mama Lyons. Today we're joined by an incredible guest, Nikki Turner, founder of Wholefully Me Solutions. Nikki is a parent and behavioral communication facilitator, workshop host, and advocate for emotional awareness and healthier communication. With a background in behavioral psychology and more than a decade of experience supporting children and families in educational and behavioral settings, Nikki has worked closely with autistic and hearing impaired students while helping parents and caregivers better understand emotional triggers, nervous system overwhelm, communication patterns, and behavioral responses. Nikki also works with law enforcement clients through Vitania, where she continues studying resilience, stress human behavior, and the brain's ability to create healthier patterns through intentional practice. Her mission is powerful, helping people catch the moment before it catches them by building awareness, emotional regulation, healthier communication, and stronger relationships. Today, we're diving into parenting, resilience, my favorite topic, communication, stress responses, emotional awareness, and practical tools families can use right now to create healthier homes and healthier connections. Please help me welcome Nikki Turner to the Coach's Corner.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome.
Hi. Hi, Davita.
Man, all that good stuff. I'm looking forward to talking about it. All that good stuff. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I've known you for a lot of years, and I just want to start out by saying that I am super proud of the work you're putting in, what you're doing. I've been seeing you showing up on social media here and there. I have seen the evolution of Nikki Turner, and I am super proud of you and so happy that I have the opportunity to interview on the Coach's Corner. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about what you're doing, and let's just start it. All right. So I love your catchphrase. I love catch the moment before it catches you. That's powerful. What does that mean to you personally and professionally?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I am so elated to be here. So thank you. Catch the moment before it catches you came from my own parenting experience with my daughter. And I used to loop in these cycles of just having knee-jerk reactions. And the more I started to do that and the more aware I became, I started to ask myself, how come this keeps catching me? Like what am I missing? And the more I started to pay attention to my own triggers and how I was responding to her, the quicker I was able to start to catch those moments before I started looping again. So that's what it means to me. Just learning to be aware of the cycles and the patterns of my own responses and catching those moments because I understood why I was responding that way.
Wow, that is powerful. Um, I relate as a parent. I relate as a teacher in the classroom, it's that moment can catch anyone,
Yes.
especially under stress, especially when, you know, there's so much in in the moment happening, and you have to stop and reflect. And I talk about that all the time. That moment, that second to stop and pause, to catch yourself, so to speak, is so essential. It can really make or break, you know, how you respond. And
Yes.
so you have created, I think, something that's very powerful, and you're using it to help families, right? And then you're also tied to the education system, so you can see how both in the classroom as well as in the home, how essential this is to teach this. So I'm very excited to explore this more with you. So you've worked with children and families for over a decade. Uh,
Hmm.
some of the biggest communication struggles, what are they? What have you seen consistently between parents and children?
The communication struggles is, I feel, expecting our children to have more capacity than they're able to have, and not being able to meet them where they are. Because if we see, like for my daughter, I see a lot of maturity in her. So when she's not able to do simple things, in my opinion, I'm like, I don't understand why you're struggling with this part when I've seen you do this, which to me is more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think being able to take a step back, see the situation in front of you, whether it's your children, whether it's teaching, because I had to do that with teaching dance to students when I had a class of all levels, from maybe preschool to sixth graders. That's a lot to navigate in one space. So being able to just see them where they are, meet them where they are, and not get mad and irritated so much when they can't execute immediately. Just like we've had to learn how to do things, and we do that by practice, also giving that same grace to children, and also being able to have something consistent where we reinforce that through, for example, my daughter was being irresponsible in an area. And although it was inconvenient for me to implement this new way of being, I had to protect my peace. So, although things can be inconvenient, if it protects the peace as a whole, then it's needed for her to understand this is the expectation. And we're going to keep at it until you get it. And just being consistent. It's difficult for adults sometimes because we almost feel like we're on punishment.
Right.
And we have to suffer, but if that's what it takes to create the results we need, being consistent in the communication, being consistent in what, and following through on what happens if those expectations aren't met, is key. Not in a way where it's punishing, but teaching them life skills, because there's cause and effect to everything. There's consequence to everything, good, bad, and different. And so I think we do our kids a disservice when we're not implementing those things and then getting mad when we're not seeing the results, when we're being inconsistent and they're just mirroring and playing off of us. So just consistency and being clear about what you actually expect them to do is
Right.
also
Right.
key.
Yeah. 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 And I again, everything you say, I have to remind listeners that are educators, this pertains to you too in the classroom,
Yes.
because it's even, it's 10x, it's 30x, because you got 30 to 40 kids in your room, and they're
Yes.
all different, mixed ability. And so what you say is just not for the parent, but it's also for any other adults who are in the lives of young people consistently. And when you talk about structure and communication, I had to remind myself of that too, because a lot of times we have the mentality is, I tell them one time they should get it,
Right. Right.
because we were kind of raised that way, right? Like,
Yes.
I remember my mother saying, if I have to tell you one more time, and that was scary in and of itself. It was like they send you to go get something, you can't find it. If I have to come find that for you, this is going to happen. There's a consequence. You're like, wait a minute.
Excuse me.
No, you're okay. I'm dealing with bronchitis, and I no, I get it. Um, so I'll be coughing too occasionally. But with that, so I had to figure out that that old school communication doesn't work.
Yeah.
I don't even think it worked with us, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I
Yes.
got a scar too from those types of things. But really, with this generation, with these kids, this new jack post coronavirus, whatever
Mm-hmm.
hybrid of kids, you can't play with them like that. You need to give them some grace. You just do.
Yes.
So I think that's powerful. So communication, um, the struggle in terms of communication probably most likely has to do with not being consistent, not saying it enough to where they understand or get it, or at least not helping them to get it. And so
Right.
there's a disconnect. Yeah. Yeah.
And structure too, not having, because it's like, how can we have universal systems while meeting the individual where they are?
Right.
That's something I've been toying with. So yeah, having systems that work, that aren't harsh but simple enough for them to understand that these are the steps to, if you don't do this, this will happen every time, like not
Every time.
wavering.
Right. Every time. And I find, because you and I are in a similar work, and I find that with parents, they don't necessarily see the need for that. Whereas with teachers, we've been trained that you need to have this on the board, you need to have this visual. You need to say these words. There needs to be a symbol for going to the bathroom. Like you
Yes.
learn year after year with different kids how to be most effective. But when you're a parent, you're just going about your business as surviving and keeping that roof overhead. Go get such and such, go do this. You don't realize that you have to stop and break that down.
Yes.
The bedtime is important. When I
Yes.
was a kid, I didn't understand that. You had kids stand up all night on video games. The next day, they
Mhm.
can't keep their eyes open in class,
Yeah.
right? That's a structure of, okay, we go to bed at a certain time so that we can get sleep.
Yeah.
We eat breakfast or we do whatever works. But you need, like you said, that structure, and that equates to safety, right?
Yes.
You
Yes.
feel safe when you know what to expect,
Yeah.
and I wasn't the best with that as a mom. I will be the first to admit it. But let's talk about the nervous system and how it relates to this, because I know you do some work in that area as well. Um, Stress and how we communicate during stressful moments and how that impacts the nervous system.
It's the it's so loaded with this nervous system, and I feel like I've used my own life as a way to gauge things and in the life of my family, and then just paying attention. But if your nervous system is always in the state of high stress or survival autopilot, and in the way that's not serving you, then there's those mirror neurons that children specifically pick up on. And if you're always in high states of stress, it'll be hard for your classroom to find that safety that you're speaking of, because they can pick up on that. Children are very sensitive to those things.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the law enforcement, those clients, they are trained also to deal in high amount of stress and be alert. So how do you turn that off when you don't have to fight? you know
The fight,
and
flight, freeze, or fawn. Yeah.
yes, and what I've learned too, all of that is important. None of
Right.
it is bad. It's just knowing when to implement those things. If somebody coming at you, we need to fight.
That's right.
you know
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
it's
but don't
all
stay in fight mode all day and all night.
exactly. So nervous system regulation helps to, for you, first of all, to feel clear in your mind and in your
Mm-hmm.
body, so that you can communicate in a clearer state versus being chaotic and sporadic. So practices that help regulate the nervous system are important. What we do at Vitania, we use neuroscience software and biofeedback to help them regulate. And it's a program that they're in. But if you're not able to experience a program like that, awareness around yourself, awareness around your triggers. Like you said, if you were cultivated in environments where you were pretty much taught to people please,
Mhm.
and,
Exactly.
and you didn't know you had agency. Why? Because our parents most likely grew up that way as well.
That's right.
And like you said, this generation, you can't use the same
Mm-mm.
things and like we had back in the day, because they
Mm-mm.
don't respond that way. They definitely need to be treated differently. They need to be told why. I go through having my daughter understand why we're doing stuff. Do you
Right.
see how this goes with this? Do
Right.
you understand? And sometimes what we hear growing up, you do what I say, not as I do. Don't question me. So we were taught very young not to have agency. Where these kids, they know they have agency, and how do we properly prepare them with that agency at the ages they're developing through? So once we as adults can regulate our nervous system, breathing, there's box breathing, there's working out, there's going on walks. I've been in parent to parental therapy, and equine therapy. So, noticing, oh, the sun is out, the trees, just bringing yourself back to your body, because when you're dysregulated,
Mm-hmm.
you are outside of your body and you're in your mind, your monkey mind, as some people
Mm-hmm.
say, or
Mm-hmm.
reptilian brain.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot happening when we are not paying attention to ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you said so much there that I want to stay there for a moment because I think I want people who are listening to this to personally identify with what you're saying. Because if you were raised in that way where you did lack agency, you had to either be a person who is interested in personal development, in growing, in changing, in evolving, transforming, however you want to put it. But there has to be a desire to do that. And in that process, you become much more self aware. And in that process of becoming self aware is where you're now able to change the patterns. I think for you, for myself, we recognize that our parents were doing the best that they could do
Right.
with what they had and what they came from and the parents that raised them. Now we're bringing in another generation, and I think I didn't figure a lot of this out until my son was probably. I started figuring it around 9, 10 years old. I started realizing that this doesn't work with him, but this does. And
Hmm.
back then, I didn't even understand what, because I used to be on one thing, and that was yell and get results,
Yes.
right? I
Yep.
raise my voice, you jump. And
Yes.
and in the process, I don't need no lip, no eye movement, no none of that, because
Yes.
all of that is disrespect,
Yep.
right?
Right.
Then I go into the classroom and I bring that with me as a young teacher. Well, not I wasn't young, but as a new teacher, I
Hmm.
bring that mentality with me and expect 35 individuals who are
Mm.
coming out of environments I have no idea
Yeah.
how they're being treated at home or what they're experiencing. And I'm thinking that one size fits all is that's gonna do it. And
Hmm.
I was humbled early on when a kid said to me, Miss, don't yell. I can't handle yelling. I can't
Hmm.
handle that. And I talked to that child one to one and realized I was trying to get somebody in the room to listen, but I'm
Hmm.
affecting everyone in the room,
Mm.
you know. So what you talked about when you said, not everyone, so realizing if you lack agency, if you grew up lacking agency, you're not sure how to support someone else
Yeah.
in maintaining theirs. And in fact, if people pleasing is all you know, then you go into adulthood with that same pattern and then you keep that cycle going.
Yep.
You and I have talked about breaking the cycle. right?
Right.
It's so important. Um, so cycles of yelling, frustration, shutdowns, conflict. These patterns continue to repeat um, because people think that's what it takes to get them the results that they need, right?
Yeah.
But you know there's a better way.
Yes.
So talk about what you've learned in that process.
Um, Similar to you, I grew up with the yelling and the frustration and all those things, and just like children, the modeled behavior. And as we become adults, we model that same behavior. And if we don't haven't been exposed to better, or something that's more effective, we repeat it. And no, I think when parents or educators don't have certain things organized, because this
Mhm,
is why this has been my struggle. When there has been no organization, no systems, no processes, then everything feels overwhelming.
mhm,
And then when your child starts to act up, then it becomes like you lost all control, and it's always a fight. There's no peace. And
mhm,
so, what I would recommend when there's a lot of yelling and frustration, like the old folks say, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you change. And when you finally understanding that yelling is not giving the results that you want, when you understand that your actions is affecting your children on a deeper level, and if we say we love our kids, like I had to tell my daughter this, I can't say I love you and then treat you poorly,
right.
because that's a mismatch. Back to
Mhm,
that safety, that doesn't feel
mhm,
safe. So I think
mhm,
when we have that awareness of how our actions are truly affecting our children, we start to look within,
mhm.
because they're kids. Why am I letting a 9-year old trigger me? Like,
Right, right.
right? What is that
Absolutely.
about? But that doesn't change also as adults. If we've never felt safe as children and we're carrying that to adulthood, like you said, you want it to be heard. It doesn't change that you have feelings as an adult, as an educator, as a
Right.
parent. And
Mm.
but the children don't understand that because their brains are not fully developed yet.
Right. Right. And they lack empathy too a lot of
Yes.
times.
Yeah,
That's
the word
something we have
for
to
the
teach them. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, they're just like, "Oh, well, whatever. That's your
Or,
problem, lady."
right, she tripping today.
Yeah, she well, if I had a nickel for every time I heard a kid say, "Ooh, Miss Lyons is on one today." Yeah, because I would come in meaning I mean business, and they're like, "Whatever." But then I saw and I still see how loving kids can be when they feel
Yes.
safe. They can, this is a Teachers Awareness Week, and I've gotten so many beautiful stars and letters and tributes, and I'm just like, this is why I do this, right?
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's about providing a safe space for them. But we need educators and parents to feel safe too. We
Yes.
need them to become more self-aware. And you talk a lot about awareness and creating choice. So how can parents start developing more emotional awareness in everyday life?
They can develop that by looking at the outcome of their life. And what I mean by that is, I feel like our life is a direct reflection of what's within. And so, if we're looking at what we've created and we're no longer satisfied with it, we've outgrown it, we feel like there needs to be a change, having the courage to say, I'm not equipped, I need help, or I thought this was working and it did for a time, but now it doesn't anymore. So being able to allow the change that needs to happen is key, and looking for the resources, the proper resources that will help us find the tools we need to become better communicators, better regulators of self, um, with having a better relationship with ourselves, therefore we can have those with our children and with our students.
Right, right. It starts with self awareness. It
It,
really
yeah.
does. It starts with knowing who you are. I mean, before I could change anything, I had to be honest with myself and hold myself personally accountable for how I handled certain situations, especially stressful situations. And then, you know, parents don't like, there's no instruction manual, right? There's no here's a book. And I mean, if every time a girl got pregnant or a woman
Mm,
got pregnant and there was this manual that was customized for her, um told her how to raise that child, same thing for fathers, it'd be a different world. But it's
yes.
not. All we have is how we were raised, what we were taught, what we pick up on in society, what's happening around us, how people either speak life or doom over us. All those things make up how we show up. Once you become more aware of who you are and what choice you have, choices, it starts to get better. And that's why I'm such a fan of personal development, because I think everyone can get better if they put forth the effort and they want to. But there's tools and resources, right?
Right.
So what are some of the practical tools that you suggest to families that they can use to create calmer communication at home?
The the illusion of choice now
Yeah,
for children.
I like that.
And before I answer that,
Yeah.
I do want to touch on the we don't have a manual, because a friend and I, we were talking about this and something just came up, and I don't know if it's just for me, but I'd like to share that life is the manual.
Hmm.
And as we live it and experience it, we start to gather data of what works and what doesn't, and we
Right.
shift accordingly. So I like to challenge all of us with the manual, because I've said it several times until it happened just yesterday, where I was like,
That's good.
life is the manual. And if we pay attention to it enough, we know where to pivot.
That's
So
powerful. That's right. That's right.
so, and we are guiding for those of us who draw from spiritual sources, that also guides us and leads us to truth. So uh, I think we have to realize that we are more equipped than we realize. And to your point with the tools, for my daughter, for example, I would give her maybe two to three options when it comes to something. And even if I feel like I will get further with her input, I would say, okay, A, B, or C, these are your choices. What do you think you want to do? And so that teaches them to think, and
Hmm.
it teaches them that power of choice. Once again, you may not always like the choice, but you still have a choice. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
that's what I'm teaching her. So some practical tools is, what is the outcome? What do you know that your child or student cares about? My daughter cares about privacy. So when she violates her privacy, I say, okay, for example, you can't get on your laptop without me right now because you violated the responsibility for privacy at
Ah,
your age. And
ah,
so, and then sticking to that, because, sometimes we get busy. Okay, we can do it. And then we teach them not to follow through on their word.
right. That's good. That's really good. When I hear privacy, that cracks me up because my mom used to threaten me all the time with, "I'm going to remove your door." She would remove the whole bedroom door, and so that is totally no privacy, right?
Right.
Um, and it's but when you think about it, that's teaching agency. When you say, okay, you want your privacy, you have to um, be accountable and earn it, in the sense of, I know, because ultimately, as a parent, their safety and security is our number one goal, right?
Yes.
So if they are making mistakes, and using your example about privacy, um, you want privacy, but I also am responsible for making sure I know that you're making good decisions. And since your brain is not where it needs to be yet because you are this age, you're gonna need a second set of eyes on what you're doing on the computer. It's the bottom
Right.
line.
Right.
There's predators out there. There are people who like to chat and pretend that they are, young and they're not. There's all kinds of things like that. So to your point, when you explain the why, but that takes time, right? You have to invest in being a parent.
Yeah.
And you can't be absent, you can't be missing. We can be busy, but we
Yes.
have to have some system in place to check in.
Yeah.
Um, I have a I have a parent who, when we talk about not bringing the cell phones to school, this parent, when she came in, because the kid had, and this is how smart these kids are. They have burner phones now. They have phones that
They do. I didn't know they had burner.
they have two phones, one for the teacher, one for the pocket. I'm
It
not
makes me
kidding
think of
you.
that song.
They'll
I
turn
have
in there,
two
they'll line up.
phones.
Yeah, that's it. Two phones. One for the teacher, one for my pocket. And you are like, oh, so and so turned their phone in. And it took us like 2 or 3 weeks as teachers to catch on. Wait a minute. How is it that
Oh.
that person got caught at lunchtime with a phone, but I have a phone in the phone slot?
Mm.
You see?
Yes.
Yes. They are smart,
Yes.
smarter than we give them credit for.
You're right. Look, and sometimes we have to pick and choose our battles also.
Yeah, that's right. And and so I had a parent that said she caught on to that at home because she told her child, leave your phone at home on the counter. When you
Hmm.
come home in the evening, you can get it. And she has a spot. And she said the phone was in the spot, and she gets a call from school saying so and so has their phone. And she's looking at the phone in the spot going, so yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, these kids are hilarious and what they come up with. But at the same time, it's probably communication is the most important thing to get them to understand why. Um, so yeah. So I want to switch gears a little bit. You've worked with autistic and hearing impaired students. So how did those experiences shape your understanding of behavior and communication?
For the hearing impaired students, I I taught in different ways, but mostly movement.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn that communication is based on the audience. um, I can't go in there and speak verbally and expect them to get what I'm saying. So, of course, I had a translator or interpreter. Um, but it's learning to slow down and to really understand the goal. What am I trying to convey? What am I asking of them? And being able to do that in a way that they understand, because it's not about me. I'm talking to the audience. And so when it came to working with the hearing impaired, even finding what they care about. Because if they don't care about nothing I'm talking about, they're going to tune out anyway. So,
Right.
how can I speak on something they care about? And how can I also communicate what I want to give them and bridge the two in a way that they understand? So that's what I have to do with hearing impaired. And with the autistic student that I work with, she was in primary care. And this is when I was working at a Montessori school,
Mm-hmm.
and that was my first experience. And it challenged me because I had to realize that she was on a spectrum that I wasn't on. And it wasn't about forcing what I was trying to get her to do. Once again, it's about where is she at? And then how does she learn? Do I need to show her more pictures versus talking to her verbally?
Mm-hmm.
Do I say, okay, remember when you come in, backpack, point to the image of the backpack, and then an arrow maybe. After that, really using more visuals. You have to communicate to the child in a way that they understand. My daughter tends to thrive better when there's visuals, when there's
Mm-hmm.
music even involved. When So I think with those two in particular, finding a way to care about what they care about, and still communicate what you need to, and bridging the two, as I just
No,
repeated.
that's key. That's key. And because the only way to engage them is if it's something they care about. And
Yes.
that's even with, again, educators designing lessons, teachers designing lessons. You have to keep that in mind. Am I going to hold their attention with this, or am I going to lose them? Are they going to
Right.
drift? And that's part of when I say these new jack kids, it's a whole different, you know, because they don't, nothing compels them to sit and listen for 40
Mhm.
minutes to somebody talking or a video. You can't even show long videos in the classroom. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. 15 minutes is a stretch, you
Right.
know, because we're in a microwave society and our kids, these kids were born into everything has to be quick.
Yeah.
So I get it. Um, I like what you were saying about working with the hearing impaired. That's the same, making sure that you're making a connection with them.
Yeah.
That's what it's really about, is connecting with that, with autistic children as well. Understanding, making sure they understand what you're communicating. um,
Right. And
how does Go
can
ahead.
I say one more thing? And
Absolutely.
because this just popped up, and not being so full of our ego and what we know as adults, as all the wisdom and knowledge we acquire, still being able to meet them where they are and know that they still have the ability to teach us something. Children have
Hmm.
taught me so much more
Hmm.
than education, all the things that I've gathered just by listening to them. So I
Hmm.
think too, when we come with a servant heart of how can I serve, and children can feel when you actually care versus you getting paid for it. This is just something you doing, and that's okay. We go through those moments, but always be able to bring it back to we're here to serve, and we're here to help
Absolutely.
develop the new generation.
Absolutely. Oh, you said a lot right there. Develop a new generation. When you think about each generation, how it's going to iterate, how it's going to change, you know, what we're doing now matters.
Yeah,
It matters a great deal. How we teach them to have agency, how we teach them to communicate, all that matters because that's what's going to be used for them to raise their children. I
yes.
remind them in the classroom all the time, and then they'll be like, "Oh, Miss, come on now, we're not having no whole room full of people swearing they're not gonna." I said, if none of you are gonna have families or children, society is just gonna stop. There'll be no more people. Come
Uh-huh.
on, you know. But but they love that. They love the open communication. You know,
Yeah.
they really do. Let's talk about low self worth and self doubt in
Mm.
your journey because you shared that with me.
Oh my. There's so much there, but I'll just say, starting with my height. So I'm a whopping 4'11", 4 feet 11 inches, and there is something. There's a belief that came with that that I discovered. I'm small, so don't take up too much space. Don't be too much. You're little. You're adorable. You're cute. So it felt like, oh, okay, well, I can't do too much because I'm little. So that's one aspect of just having self doubt. I'm not capable, or comparison. Comparison is the thief that robs joy. I forgot who said that, but I
Hmm.
heard that quote somewhere. And I used to compare myself because I just thought I needed to be more like other people.
Hmm.
Um, and having people around me that didn't always celebrate me. If I shined my light, I would sometimes get those backhand compliments, or don't forget where you got this from. And although you may not pay attention to it at the time, those stick with you. And they're in the back, I call it the app running in the background that's
Ooh,
still going. It's like on our
yeah,
phones, we have these apps that we don't even know is still sucking energy from the phone.
that's good.
So I have these apps running in the background that's still like, okay, I know what I'm capable of. I see who I am, but there's still this hesitancy. And then if you and when I would try things, I mean, I went to fashion design school. I've had a salon for 3 years. I've done all these things. I had a house at 21, then foreclosed because I didn't understand, and I started a business. So those look like failures to me. And then when you feel like you're failing so much, sometimes it makes you not want to try, and it messes with your self-image, your self-worth. And those are the things I had to learn to embrace now, and say how and see how they have shaped who I am today, and that I actually tried and did something, and because I tried, I know what to do differently.
You know what? That's amazing. I'm hearing you say this as if I'm meeting you for the first time. I know that I've known you for about 20 years,
Hmm.
because I can remember my son was around 8, I think, when I met you, and now he's 28, so it's easy.
Right.
And over the course of those years, I've only seen one thing, that you were excellent at whatever it is you set out to do.
Mm.
But I didn't know until this moment, some of the things that you've been through. I highlight this because I need people to understand that first and foremost, you're very resilient. I do know that about you. That that those experiences that you've had has made you the Nikki Turner you are today, and has allowed you to help countless individuals, right?
Yes.
So that fertilizer, that fodder, that whatever you want to call it, has allowed you to become, and yet you kept trying. And this is what I celebrate with people, even with myself: becoming. It's the becoming,
Yes.
right? That's what it is. Because everyone wants to focus on what it is to be
Yeah.
this, to be that. I need to be this. I'm not successful until I'm this or that. But man, they miss out on the joy of becoming. They
Yeah.
miss out on failing forward. They miss out on so many things that help to create an even more super human being. So you're already there. And so I really celebrate that about you, because um, you have the heart to help. You have the heart to influence others to grow, and you're doing it for parents right now, and you've done it. You're a phenomenal dancer. There's a lot of things that you do. You're a lot of very creative, wonderful talent. You're like multidimensional. But I love the direction that you're going in, and what you've done. And by the way, thank you for sharing those things, because people have to hear both sides. It's not all rainbows and butterflies, right?
Not at all.
People have to know, and it's the people that have had a rough journey that turn out to be the greatest influencers. It's not the Instagram posing,
Um,
beachside,
come on.
right? Yeah, the duck lips. It's not all that. No, no. It's the I tried, I failed, I learned,
Yeah.
I'm back in the game. Let me figure out a different way. Let me put the, you know what I mean? Those are the
Yes.
people that I love to hang with,
Hmm.
and you're definitely one of those people. So, um, low self worth, self doubt, all of that stuff. That's normal. That's the normal. The IG
Mhm.
images that young people are seeing, that's not the normal. The normal is you grow through things, and
Yes.
you know. So, um, your story, this is what you shared, includes trying out for So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah.
You did equine therapy. You learned acrobatics at the age of 40. Uh, so, and we just talked about it, but talk to me a little bit more about courage, resilience, and growth.
Okay. 2009, the year Michael Jackson died. I'll never forget this.
Yes.
Uh, my good friend Herschel and I, we heard about So You Think You Can Dance tryouts, I think the night before. And so FedEx or Kinko's at the time when you
Yeah.
actually
Yeah, Kiko was around.
and you went inside and we had to. we had to burn a CD. We had to burn the song that we were going to audition to on the CD, and we stood at the Phoenix Convention Center for hours in line. And I got to the third round where I actually auditioned for. It was Mia Michaels, Nigel, and I can't think of the third judge at the time. And I didn't know what category to put myself in at the time, because at that time I was mostly dancing in church.
Right.
And so I was coming from that experience in that world, which is different from the
Yes, it
competitive
is.
dance world.
Yes, it is.
And I had a strep throat also, so I couldn't even really talk. Um, and so the fact that I went for it anyway, regardless of what it was going to turn out, I was very proud of myself for just trying and doing
Right.
it.
Yes.
And it was fun.
Yes. Yes.
Stressful but fun.
Yes.
And equine therapy, I did that for about a year because
Mhm.
I wasn't equipped with a lot of tools when it comes to communication and parenting. And I I got tired of feeling crappy as a mom, because I didn't feel like I was a good mom in many ways. And I kept feeling like I'm just damaging my kid over and over again. And she was doing therapy, and then we also went through some hard family things, and it was time for me to just figure out, how can I move us forward, what's in
Mhm.
me that I need to heal from, or what tools do I need to acquire. So I sought out help, and it helped me to really understand what was coming up, why I was responding the way I was responding, and having someone to just listen to you talk without interrupting you, and you can say whatever you want to say. That is one of the most freeing experience I've ever had, and being okay to say the things that I
Mhm.
may be afraid to say. Like,
Mhm.
even becoming a mother was not ideal for me at that time, and
Mhm.
being able to say that, it's not that I didn't want my daughter, but where I was in my life didn't feel like I could give her what I knew it took to be a mother,
Right.
type of thing. So
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
so to and just keep going anyway. And
Mm.
then the acrobatics, it found me, and I'm 42, so I'm doing this currently. I
Uh-oh.
so
I know
I
that.
so I signed up for a 4-week dance workshop, and I'm thinking, okay, it's just going to be technical training. I can get in my body, I can treat my
Mhm.
body better. And here I am flipping and learning how to do aerials, cartwheels with no hands, backhand springs. And I'm in there with all these younger people. And all I can think about is my age sometimes. They're like, they're so young and agile, and here
Yes.
I am trying. But I decided that at some point you get tired of beating yourself up for
Mhm.
past mistakes, current mistakes, and you just say, I'm just gonna go all in and live my life. And that's what happened. Now the more I fall on that mat, the more I feel like, oh, I can do this. Because we're afraid to fall. We don't want to hurt ourselves. But the more I do it, the more I'm learning how to land better. The more I see what shifts I need to make to execute. So, yeah, I just
Wait a
keep
minute.
doing.
Wait a minute. Say that again. That whole piece you just said. Do you know how profound that is? Say that. The more you fall, what happens?
The more I fall, the more I'm able to shift so I can know how to better execute. And it's starting to be fun. It's like working out. At first, it sucks and it hurts. And that's what anything, though. And I'm learning there's process in everything. And the more I've begun to accept that everything is not going to feel good. There are things I'm not going to want to do. And it doesn't change that it needs to be done.
Right. 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 Right.
So the more
Wow.
I've accepted that, the more resilient and, dare I say, even fearless that I've become, because it's like when I'm able to look back at what I've overcome, I'm like, and I'm still standing. What?
Right, right,
Let's
right, right,
go.
right, right. That's it. That's it. I feel that energy. Let's go. Let's bring it, right?
Right.
Bring it.
Yes,
I'm
we're
good.
equipped for this. No one told me to do this. I'm
Right.
doing what's been in me to do. So why would I act like I'm not equipped. So yeah, I just got tired of downplaying myself and just say, let's live this life and go for it.
Just do it. I love, love, love that. And I mean, actually, I when you were saying that and making that the acrobatics, I was thinking, oh my goodness, um, there's no better way to get young people to understand that it's okay to fall. See, they
Yeah.
when they're involved with sports, with
Yeah.
athletics and things like that, that's where they're learning that character to be able to compete and to do something. And sometimes you win, sometimes you don't.
Right.
And we've become a society that everybody has to be a winner. And that's
Yes.
not good. It's
Yes.
not. It's not good. It's not everybody should get a trophy. Now, this is my personal opinion, and people will disagree with me, and that's okay. You can do that. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't learn how to fail forward, then that's where we have all of these anxious and uncomfortable and
Yes.
upset and you know and so when you gave that example, I'm like, that is so perfect, especially for young people to understand.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I can tell you that tumbling and all that stuff when I was in school, I hated it because I hated it. I can just say I hated it. When I look back on it now, yeah, I hated it. But they still made us do it.
Right.
My generation, all of that had to happen in PE. You had to jump,
True.
run, and jump on the. I don't. PE is an elective now. I don't get it.
Yes.
I don't get
Right.
it. It should be forced on every kid. Be
Some
physical.
things, right? Some things I think, yeah, universal. We just need to go through it. Just
Yeah,
because it doesn't change that when you get into this world, they're like going to work. There's just certain things that must be done.
right. Like brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get people to understand that too. Honest to, I'm not kidding you.
I-
Um, all jokes aside, I love young people. Um, as we're starting to wrap up a little bit, and I'm telling you, this hour always goes way too fast for me, but maybe not for somebody else listening, but they can also fast forward and you know
Yes.
back up, do whatever on the replay. I know right now it's Mother's Day. Um,
Yes.
so happy Mother's Day, to all those that are listening, happy Mother's Day. This is a special day for mothers, but every day should be a special day for
Yes.
mothers. Um, but I want to say that um, for someone listening right now who feels overwhelmed, maybe burned out, emotionally reactive in their relationships with their children or their spouses or whomever, family members, what's the one first thing they can start today, uh, or take away from this to begin to create healthier patterns?
There's a framework in my parenting workshops that I give out, and I say pause, notice, choose. And for those that are in that space of being overwhelmed, stressed out, burnout, first acknowledge it. We are in a society sometimes, especially as moms, power through. Come on, girl. Da, da,
Mm-hmm.
da. But being able to just stop and notice I am burnt
Mm-hmm.
out. I'm overwhelmed. So, first acknowledge it. Give yourself the space to see yourself and where you are, and then from there, what can you do from there? Do you need to just write a list of things? Do you need to just journal? Sometimes you can just write and time yourself for 30 seconds. You don't have to think, just write what comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
If you find that you need assistance, okay, I'm burnt out. Notice, where am I burnt out? Where could I use help? We also are in a society sometimes where women don't always want to ask for help. I know that's been a struggle. So being open to getting the help you need, and to know that you don't have to stay in those states, because those are still choices. They can be autopilot choices, but they're still choices to stay in the cycle of burnout and overwhelm. So acknowledge where you're at, and then seek the resources that you need. Seek the tools. There's YouTube University. That has taught me so much.
That's right.
Right.
They're my favorite
Finding the
school.
parenting books.
Yeah.
Talk to someone that a friend, a trusted friend that you know
Mhm.
could help point you in the direction. But I would say seek out the help that you need. That has been vital for me in moments of overwhelmment, being burned out, finding the help that I needed. So if I'm not able to get myself out of those places, then I need to get help, just like a personal trainer. Sometimes we are great at doing things by ourselves, and in other areas, we need that support. So being available and open to the support you need, but
Mm.
acknowledge where you are and don't brush that off like it's nothing.
Right, right, right. Absolutely. Because there's people counting on us to show up and show up at our best. And
Yes.
so, wonderful advice. Um, and then I know in the notes there should be ways to contact you. Um, what is your best way? What is your preferred way for people to reach out to you if they'd like your assistance?
They can reach out to me on LinkedIn
Mhm,
under Nikki Turner, or you
mhm.
can email me at admin@wholefullyme.com.
Whole, WHOLE, second word fully,
Yes.
FULLY, hopefully, and then me, ME, three
Yes.
separate words.com. Okay.
Yes.
Hopefully me. I love that. That's inspiring. Um,
Mhm.
this has been wonderful. Nikki, I thought I knew you and I have known you for years, but you've shown me even more. And, you're executing with such grace. I wish you continued success. Come back whenever you want to our show and share more. Because you're amazing. You're doing great things. So hang out. Don't go away. At this point, I'm going to let's see. I want to remind people what they need to do. Let's see. What do you need to do? You're watching the Coach's Corner. So please support us, like, share, spread the message. Every Sunday at 2 p.m., I go live, Arizona time. Next week will be Voices of Resilience, where someone will be showing or sharing how they had to be resilient. But anything else you want to say, Nikki? Anything else you want to share?
Just thank you for having me. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. I think it's needed, it's important. And I do have a workshop coming up
Oh,
May 30th.
okay.
It's in Tempe off of Baseline and Mill. And you can see that on my Instagram, which is also whole, period, fully, period, me.
Okay.
And that'll be
Hopefully.
May 30th from 10:30 to 12:30.
Okay, that is wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. Okay. All right. So with that being said, we're going to sign off until next week. And please look up Nikki, get back with Nikki, and um, you know, share your thoughts about this episode as well. Okay. All right.
Hi, thank you.